All right, Crim 20, let's knock out Chapter 13, Custody Within a Prison. So, we're going to talk about a lot of things in this chapter that provide security within a prison. And there's a bunch of I guess little bullet points that we're going to talk about. But some of this is going to involve a lot of kind of common sense stuff. But first and foremost, effective classification. If an inmate is put into a situation where he is at risk or he is a danger to others, you're obviously inviting a security problem. So effective classification is definitely one of the key steps to keeping your facility secure. Physical security within a prison, make sure your doors lock. I've been into at least the juvenile hall, and I want to say maybe the jail too. There are certain doors that everybody knows they don't close by themselves. You have to tug on them or pull them. So making sure that the actual physical security is good within that prison. Consistently implemented security policies and procedures. Everybody needs to know what they're supposed to be doing. And everyone needs to do it consistently. Make sure that you are locking this door. Make sure that you are counting your inmates. Make sure that you are doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. Controlling inmate movement. You think of like in high school when you had to get the giant bathroom pass. I remember at Hoover it was a huge piece of wood that they had to carry with them. But everybody knew when the kid was walking down the hallway with the giant piece of wood that they had a bathroom pass. So things like that, making sure that you know if someone is moving. And then contraband, make sure they're not getting stuff in there they're not supposed to have. Implementation of an effective inmate disciplinary system. This is kind of again, common sense type of deal, like with parenting. If an inmate isn't sure they're going to get in trouble, they might do something. If they know that every single time they do X, Y, Z, the consequence is ABC, then they're not going to do it because they understand that is a consequence for the behavior. They also need to separate unruly inmates or inmates at risk. So these are the ADSEG, administrative segregation. And then control and reduction of the likelihood of a prison riot or disturbance. So how does one, number one, know that there's a possibility of a riot or disturbance, and how, number two, do they address it? So there's a lot of things that inmates don't like that go on in the prison. And if the inmates have or feel they have some sort of say in the way they're being treated, a lot of times those kind of riots and disturbances can be avoided. So again, maintaining security, controlling their movement. You don't want inmates wandering around the facility. They need to be controlled. If they are out and about, they need to have a pass system. Like I said, like the big piece of wood that they used to carry around at Hoover. Random and regular counts. People will plan to escape if they know that a count has just taken place and that another one won't happen for another 4 hours. So those regular counts are really important, but the random ones thrown in there are almost even more important. Regular and random searches for contraband, same thing. And then the shadow boards. How can I describe a shadow board without drawing it on? A shadow board is, imagine you are in a kitchen at a prison. And every tool that you would use, every spatula, every knife, every pan, pot, whatever, they're all hanging on a wall. And around them is a little drawing of the shape of that particular tool. So let's say, for example, there's a shape of a spatula. When you go to put the spatula away, you're going to hang it on the wall inside the little drawing of a spatula. So at the end of the day, when we're trying to make sure that all the equipment is there, you will see the empty outline of a spatula and no spatula on the wall. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, that's what a shadow board is. Special housing units. We have administrative detention or disciplinary segregation. These are two different things. Administrative segregation is someone being kept separate because they are at risk of harm. And I use examples like the deputy chief of the Fresno Police Department, Keith Foster. So Keith Foster is now in federal prison. He is a cop. Anyone in prison would probably love to kill a cop. Because he is at risk because of his career as a police officer, he would be in an administrative detention, or he would be kept separately from the others based on his status. Disciplinary segregation is a different kind of segregation. This is a person whose behavior is bad and maybe they're violent. So those they're two different things. Disciplinary segregation, person is being put there because of their own behaviors, because they are being bad, aggressive, violent, whatever. In administrative detention, that's a person who is at risk of harm from others. So there have been a lot of riots and disturbances. 1971 in Attica was the worst. There are a lot of reasons why inmates might riot. I can remember early, I don't know, maybe late 80s, early 90s, the prisons outlawed cigarettes in prison. Because before that, you could smoke in prison. You can imagine what it would feel like. The only thing these inmates kind of felt like they had left was cigarettes, and those got taken away. They got taken away from all of us, so it was, you know, the whole community. Nobody could smoke in any restaurants or any of that kind of stuff too, but that's something that could really incite violence and a riot within a correctional facility. Precipitating events. Think President Trump's inauguration. A lot of inmates don't like President Trump. A lot of people in general don't like President Trump. They see him as a racist. And something like that could cause a riot within a facility as well. So, you know, there's all kinds of different things. It's really important for the staff to be paying attention to what's going on in the communities so that they can be prepared for stuff like this. When these things do happen, they have basically what I would consider a SWAT team of the correctional facility. And I know the Fresno County Jail has this Special Emergency Response Team, or the CERT team. And they're basically the SWAT team of the facility. And they come in and handle, there's fights, riots, disturbances. If you need to do a cell extraction, that always sounds so bad to me. A cell extraction basically means taking someone out of their cell. That CERT team will come in and do that. They also apparently have hostage negotiation teams, which is kind of weird since most of those are no hostage facilities. And then disturbance control team. But I want you to focus on CERT, Special Emergency Response Team, out of these. Okay. Oh, and that's it. Awesome.